Okay, so we're going to continue what we had began last week, hopefully and finish up. We're in the Maimer HaChachma from the Ramchal for Rosh Hashana. Link should be with the first video. So I'd like to, finish with, as Ramchal's going through the Tefillos over here. So Ramchal told us that the whole setup is that we're davening for the Malchus of Hashem to reveal itself. The Malchus of Hashem revealing itself would set the world straight, would set the world in the appropriate structure with Tov on the top and Ra not destroyed, Ra subject to the Tov. That expresses itself with first with the kedusha of Hashem coming into the world, then with everybody in the world accepting Hashem. That's the v'chein tein pachtacha. Then as a result of that, Klal Yisrael, which is the manifestation in the physical world among mankind as Tov, is going to be seen, like we said last week, as the Mamleches Kohanim, like a nation of Kohanim that are here to serve Hashem, and everybody else will get the Tov through Hashem, through them, and then all the Chintain kavod, Klal Yisrael is going to then have the appropriate kavod. They're going to have their place. Now we're up to Chintain tzaddikim. Okay, so we're up to, it's like the second to last paragraph before he gets to the next Inyan, which is the Inyan Sefer Chaim, which hopefully we'll get to now as well. Okay, so I was going to explain Uvachin Tzadikim. Ulam madrigos rabos yesh b'Yisrael kulam tovos makbilos the haaros ha'elyonos. That even in Klal Yisrael there are different levels. There are people on higher madrigos and people on lower madrigos and people on at all different levels. Perish yesh tzadikim, yesh chasidim, yesh yesharim. Ukvar manu b'sefer atikunim asara madrigos al derech zeh. Okay, so there's 10 madrigos that are explained that exist. A tzaddik, a chassid, a yashar, ahuv, chassid, all these different things. Okay. Right. The point is for everybody to be besimcha, everybody to be happy, everybody to be getting what they need and to having the shefa. And so too, keneged them, on the flip side, so too will all the madregos of Ra become subject to the Tov. And this is the whole nusach that we say, tzadikim, and it ends by saying, Volasa tikpat spiha, and then all Ra will close its mouth. And he finishes by saying, I've been saying all along that we don't ask for the Ra. We're not davening for the Ra to be destroyed. Just to be subject to the Tov. There is one inyan of Ra, however, there is one aspect of Ra that we that cannot be mitukan, that can't be nitkan, and that can only be the world can only be fixed with the destruction of that Ra, and that's the inyan of Amalek. Right, Amalek is a very specific concept of something that has no tikkun, and the only way that the world could be mitukan and that, so to speak, Hashem's kisei can be shalem is with the destruction of Amalek. So that's what we're davening for at the end there. Kisavir memshel zadon min haaretz. That's talking about Amalek being completely destroyed. Okay, so now he's explained to us now that Ramchal the structure of the Shemona Esrei, what we're davening for. Like we said last week also, this is a day about the whole world. We're focusing on the world and the tsaros of the world and trying to find a tikkun for the whole world. So now he's going to explain, so where do my personal needs come in? Where does what I need and what I'm davening for, and those things that I feel I need for this coming year? So in what context am I davening for that? So he's going to explain now. V'hine hamatzav hatov sheyishar bo ha'olam hu shiyu abruim b'chol ha'chachanam mitzarechetz. Right. So what would happen when Hashem reveals Himself and the whole world is mitukan? So that means every creation, every person, every nivra is going to have hachana hamitztareches, everything it needs, all the hachanos, all the preparations, meaning all the physical things, all the spiritual things, all the psychological things, whatever that person needs in order to fulfill his purpose in the world. Right, so everybody's going to have what they need, right? Since we're all going to be now playing our role, fulfilling our role, and in order to do that, we're going to need to have everything we need to fulfill that role. So we'll have that. That's like, I mean, we're going to see Hashem revealed on us all the time. And things are going to be really good over here in the world, right? We know Chazal tell us when the Beis Hamikdash will be back. The food is going to taste better, things are going to look better, the whole world is going to be mitukan. So, right, when Hashem, because Hashem is infinite and Hashem's tov is infinite, so we can receive infinite good from Hashem, and that's the ultimate state that we're hoping for. V'zehu v'simloch, and that's when we say these words after all of this description, uvechein, 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 this whole description. Then we say Hashem v'simloch, your malchus will be revealed in the world, and your malchus being revealed in the world will mean that everybody will have everything they need. Hashana hamitzreches, everybody will have all the shefa, all the tov, all the good, all the everything, all the aura that they need. V'zeu v'simloch, v'hu ma'shamar kosav l'dor v'dor, ki ha'malchus yeh l'netzach netzachim, v'azolchim lo nenim bo l'netzach netzachim. A person is going to be tapped in to that malchus of Hashem and enjoy it forever and ever. So what Ramchal is explaining over here, according to the way that it's been explained to me, is that this is the place where we are asking for our needs, so to speak, right? Because what are our needs? What are we really asking for? We're asking for those things that we need in order to serve Hashem, right? We're on at Rosh Hashana, standing in front of Hashem. We're not here, being selfish and myopic and physically minded and thinking about things that we don't really need. We're here for the things that we need. And what are the things that we need? Things that we need in order to serve Hashem properly, in order to do the avoda that we're here to do. And therefore, we need those things in order to be able to play our role right here in the world. And that's what we're asking for, v'simloch. We want the full v'simloch. That's what we want. We want everything that we just described to happen, right? That's for sure what we want. Even if that can't happen right now, right? Even if Klal Yisrael and me and the world is not ready for it, right? However, at least let me play my part. Let me play my role in bringing your malchus into the world. And in order to do that, I would really like a shidduch. I would really like parnasa. I would really like health. I would really like this problem to go away. I would really, right? In order for me to play my part in your malchus coming into the world, please help me to get these things. And this is, what I was told is that, when you say that word, v'simloch, so then you should have in mind, obviously the real kavana, the most important kavana is that we're begging Hashem to come and be timloch on us and make everything right. And as a subset of that, Hashem, we're asking that you give us everything that we need in order to play our part and help make this happen. So that it's an important place to try to kind of have kavana in mind, v'simloch Hashem, to provide for me, give me those things. If there's something specific that you have in mind, so you're allowed, again, not to say it over there because in the middle of a statement, but to think, Hashem, please to provide me with what I need, the shefa, the or that manifests itself with physical reality over here in the world. Yeah, please provide me with what I need in order to be able to help further bring your malchus out into the world. So now he's summing up now, because we finished by saying Hamelech Hakadosh, right? So he says that we always have an inyan that we have to say before we say the chasima of the bracha, before we say the Baruch Atah Hashem, we always have to say something that is me'ein the chasima. That's just a halacha in general. For example, this is why in the bracha of Shema Kolenu, you're not allowed to add your personal bakashos right before the bracha of Shemei Tefillah, right? Let's say Shema Kolenu, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem, please let me get that car. Hashem, please let me get that job. Baruch Atah Hashem Shemei Tefillah. So that's no good, because we didn't finish me'ein hachasima, right? The chasima is Hashem hearing tefillos. So the words that we say right before that bracha of Shemei Tefillah have to be words that refer to Hashem's hearing tefillos. It can't be my specific bakasha, right? For example, I lost track of what I was saying. So that's why I'm saying over here. So that's why we go back to the Atakadosh. We circle back to the kedusha of Hashem and the kedusha of the day, and then we finish the kadosh atav, and then we finish Baruch Hu Hashem Hakel Hamelech Hakadosh. Okay, so the Ramchal explained to us here the structure of the tefillah. I have a few more minutes. I just want to read the next piece also as well. Okay, this is going on the Inyan Sefer HaChaim. Right, so we know that that we have this Inyan of this idea that Hashem. It's not an idea. It's like, the Chazal that tell us that there's a shlosha svarim nefachim. There's 3 svarim that are open in front of Hashem in Shemayim, so to speak, on Rosh Hashana, Sifrei Chaim, Sifrei Mesim, the Sifrei Beinonim. Hine ha'adam nidon tchila al pi maisav limanos b'tzadikim over Rishayim. V'zeh nikra mamish sefer ha'chaim v'sefer ha'mesim. Dahainu ha'nikva bein ha'tzadikim hu ha'nichtav v'sefer ha'chaim v'nidcha v'nikva bein ha'rashayim hu ha'nichtav v'sefer ha'mesim. So first of all, the Ramchal is explaining that Chaim and Mesim, the book that you're written in, is not life and death. It's not physically whether that person is going to physically live this year or physically die this year. Right? There are many tzaddikim that physically die every year. They were certainly written into the Sefer HaChaim for that year. They were written in as tzaddikim, even though they died. Right, that death for them was something good. It wasn't a misa over here. Chazal tell us, right, tzaddikim afilu b'misasam kruyim chayim, and rashayim afilu b'chayim kruyim mesim. Misa and chayim is not only a physical thing. Yeah, v'hatali v'omed hu abeinuni she'in dino nigmar ad yom kippurim v'alzeh mispalim v'omrim zachrenu l'chaim. So that's what we're davening for the whole time. Zachrenu l'chaim is not to live this year. Of course, we want to live this year. That's a side point. Everybody wants to live this year, but we want to live a good life. We want to live a life of chaim, a life of somebody who's actually alive and living the right way. Chalila, we don't want to be like a Russia that afilu b'chayayim kruyim mesim, that even though they're physically alive, their pulse is beating, but they are called dead because they are not doing anything productive over here in the world. So that's what we're davening for, because otherwise we're a Beinoni, which means that it's a toss-up. We're not sure if we're going to be written into the book of tzaddikim or written into the book of Rishayim. Do we deserve to be a tzaddik or not? Now, in addition to this, in addition to the book that a person is written in, so to speak, which based on their actions, that's the determination of whether they're a tzaddik or a rasha. In addition, yesh gzeros al mikrim sheba'olam hazeh. Ki efshar tzaddik shiyas yaser mipnei yoso tzaddik ve'efshar shemipnei tzidko yatzliach l'rasha k'mochein efshar shiyatzliach mipnei yoso rasha. Right. In other words, in addition to whether the person is going to be this like a tzaddik or a rasha, now again, not what they're going to be, whether they have the status going into this year of a person who is living or a person who is not. In addition, it's going to have also the physical occurrences that are going to happen to them. And again, these happen to Chaim and Mesim. They happen to Tzaddikim and Rishayim. And he's saying you can have a tzaddik that is going to have a lot of Yisurim, but those are good for him. It's the right thing for him. If Nei Hayoso Tzaddik, right? These are coming to him, because he's a tzaddik, that he was written into the Sefer Chaim. I used to tell people this. I used to, people used to ask me, okay, how is your Rosh Hashana? How is your davening? And I used to say, okay, I'll tell you next year. And I stopped saying that when I learned this some years ago. And Moshe Davali also has a whole piece about this, because it's just not true. A person might have an awful year, but they had a great Rosh Hashana. And, because of that great Rosh Hashana, Hashem gave them a tremendous opportunity of going through something this year, or in order to get who knows what, right? Hashem's a million cheshbonos, right? But the mipnei sheyos tzaddik, he might have yisurin, ve'efshar mishmei tzidko yatzliach, or because he's a tzaddik, Hashem will give him a very good year in order to help him further himself. Right? That you can have a Rasha who's going to have a great year here, is going to do great in the stock market and all these types of things because he's a Rasha, because Hashem wants to give him his char over here. Oh yes, yaser. Or you can have a person who, because of his rishos, does get destroyed or suffers. So the first thing that is determined is, are we going to be treated like a tzaddik or a rasha this year, right? If we're treated like a tzaddik, so then everything that's happening to us this year is a good thing for us. And, it's all a schus for us. It's all helping us grow, etc., etc. As opposed to Chalila, a person, none of us, right? But a person who would be written into the Sefer of Rishayim. So again, he might have a fantastic year that year, year, but that's all really to his detriment. That's all really there, not helping him. So that's what we're davening for. We want all of those things to be good for us. And if Khalila, we don't deserve to be written in the Sefer Tzaddikim here. Khalila, of a person who's a Rasha, which I don't see how that would be, a person who's really seeking Hashem, but he would say, Hashem, okay, I want a good life this year, but I want a good life for what I need. And if that means that this Rasha needs difficulties this year in order to next year be written as a tzaddik, so then that's what they're really davening for. Because that for that person, that is Chaim Tovim. Okay, this is a very important idea. What are we really focusing on in terms of our own personal needs, our own personal focus when it comes to Rosh Hashanah. Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna have a chance. I have to stop now, but I don't know if I'm gonna have a chance to finish this before Rosh Hashanah. There's one more piece on the Malchios, Zichronos, and Shofros, and I'll see if I can try to get to it as well. We'll post it here. Okay.